Coverage of the ANZ Netball Championship is proudly brought to you by Fisher & Paykel. No one's behind netball like we are.
Robin has revealed the rightful finalists. The script's been written perfectly for a Trans-Tasman tussle. It's the dream final, the best of New Zealand versus the best of Australia. Which country will snare first season bragging rights? Good evening, glad you could join us for the grand final of this inaugural ANZ Championship. It's set to be a mighty battle for the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic this evening. Remember, they've been beaten twice by the New South Wales Swifts and no Kiwi team has won across the Tasman yet. Well, joining me now is former Silver Fern Jenny May Coffin. Jenny May, are the Magic really underdogs though?
Oh, look, I mean, you brought up 2 points there, the fact that they have never won in Australia before, but, you know, I kind of look at that and think the reason that happened is because of the umpiring, and the umpiring is so different compared to the Kiwi umpires. So you've got an Australian umpire now and a Kiwi umpire, so that evens the slate out a little bit more, I think. And I don't think that the Magic can actually play any worse than they played against the New South Wales Swift when they played them in that major semi-final. So, you know, and they only lost the game by 1. So underdogs? No, I don't think so. Consider, again, I'll say it, 5 Silver Ferns in the side, 1 former against a team that's got 2 current Australian players and 1 former, so I don't think they're underdogs at all.
Well, they're certainly not acting like underdogs. I saw them as they left on Friday. Very, very confident. In fact, so confident, almost to the point where they know they're going to win this.
Yeah, and so they should be. Again, I can only go back to the personnel that they've got on their team. You consider that Casey Williams and Jolene Henry, that defensive combination. Even though Jolene's been playing out at wing defence, they still know that familiarity there. I mean, sure, you know, we saw last week that Amy Jean Metcalf and Laura Langman had been swapped around, but they still know each other's play really, really well. And then when you look at Irene van Dijk and Maria Tutaia have been playing very well together, you know, there is no reason why they shouldn't be supremely confident about the fact that they could take this match out.
Absolutely. You're talking about the lineups there, and the lineups is exactly what I bet you're all waiting to see. The Magic threw in some curveballs last week. Will they do it again this week? Let's have a look at the team lineups. The Swifts are going for the tried and true option for the final, starting with captain and Australian player Catherine Cox at goal shoot, with fellow international Susan Pratley at goal attack. Vanessa WARE takes the wing attack bib, with one of the most talked about middies in the competition, Kimberlee Green at centre, and game breaker Selina GILSENAN at wing defence. They weren't rated at the start of the season, but Kimberlee PURCELL in goal defence and BULLEY at goal keep have made the national selectors take notice. Watch out for tall Adelaide Johnson coming off the bench, so playing it particularly safe is their coach, Julie Fitzgerald. Beginning with the bold and gutsy lineup they started with in the prelim final last week. Maria Tutaia will start in the circle at goal shoot, giving Irene van Dijk the room to move out at goal attack. For just the second time this season, Nolene Todo is starting Laura Langman at wing attack instead of centre. That bib's been given to captain Amy Jean Metcalf, with Jolene Henry at wing defence. Jodie Todd gets the nod at goal defence, pairing up with lethal Silver Fern Casey Williams at goal keep. Helena Leith is the most likely to get a run off the bench, if there's an injury, that is. Their coach, Nolene Todua. Well, Jenny May, Laura Langman in at wing attack again. Brave move. Is it to cover with Selina GILSENAN in there, do you think?
Look, I think it's purely down to the fact that Amy Jean Metcalf is their _1 feeder into that circle. Now, you take her out of that wing attack position, you take away some of the attention that she's been given. She didn't play particularly well against the New South Wales Swifts when they met the first time. So Nolene Todua, I think, has actually done a fantastic job in making that decision. So Laura Langman, she's not the best feeder, but at least she'll take some of that attention contention, that leaves Amy Jean open just to feed all the ball that she likes into Irene and Maria. So, I mean, it's brave by Noeline, but she's a smart lady and she's done it for a reason.
Irene van Dijk again is in at goal attack, but regardless of where Maria or Irene play, are the Swifts defenders up to it?
Look, I don't think so. The pairing of Rebecca BULLEY and Kimberlee PURCELL, I was surprised at how well they actually played against Maria and Irene 2 weeks ago. But I think a lot of that defensive pressure you can put down to Selina GILSENAN, who put a heck of a lot of pressure onto Amy Jean Metcalf when she was playing wing attack. Now that we see that positional switch, I don't think the defence in the circle will be as effective as they were in that first game.
OK, well, it's our very last winner of our Fisher and Paykel #1 fan competition today, and it's very fitting that our winner is from the Waikato. Congratulations, Kahu Moke. You have won a Fisher and Paykel bar fridge. But we can also announce our big overall winner, and the winner is Dame Steele from Invercargill. Bev Harvey is her real name. Congratulations, Bev. And this is her here. Have a look at that. She is one crazy fan down south. Jenny May from the Steel. You're a Steel player yourself.
Classic.
How good is that?
Oh, look, Bev, big wave to Bev. Fantastic work. Look, she's absolutely crazy about the team. She was a big Sting fan, went to all the games of the Sting, but then when the Steel came around, her support was unwavering. So it's wonderful to see someone like Bev really take out that competition. So well done. Yeah.
Congratulations. Well, now it's time to get into the action. We're going to cross to Australia.
Wing defence, Jolene Henry. Goal defence.
Look at this atmosphere here in Acer Arena. Over 12,000 here to watch this game. Your commentators will be today Annie Sargent, Liz Ellis, and on the sideline, Eloise Selby-Haldish and Amanda Lucas.
And Bridget Tapini. And the coach is Noeline Tarua. And now, ladies and gentlemen, taking the court for the New South Wales Swifts tonight are goal shooter and captain, Catherine Cox.
Listen to the response and get ready for a sea of red as Catherine Cox leads out the host team tonight, the New South Wales Swifts.
Wing attack, Vanessa WARE. Centre, Kimberlee Green. Wing defence, Selina GILSENAN. Goal defence, Kimberlee PURCELL. Goalkeeper, Rebecca BULLEY. And the substitutes are Erin Bell, Adelaide Johnson, Emma KOSTER, Tiffany Lincoln, and Leah SHOARD. The coach is Julie Fitzgerald. And the umpires for tonight's game are
Umpires for the match about to step forward. Sharon Kelly left of screen and Bronwyn Meek. Reserve umpire just across to the right, Jackie Deshari. So what an honour for them to be afforded the most competent in the competition. So great credit to them to be taking the court in the inaugural ANZ Championship Grand Final. Amy Jean Metcalf, the skipper for the Magic, as we mentioned, unassuming. Annie Greiner will deliver the ball to Kim Green for the start of this match. And that is apt. Kim Green, one of her heroes. She's just 8 years of old, comes from the Mossman Netball Club. And this probably will be one of the highlights of her life, delivering the ball to Kim Green, who will get us underway in the inaugural Grand Final. So the same two combatants, the same fierce rivals, but a new chapter and much more at stake. No New Zealand team has won so far in Australia in the ANZ Championship. Will this be the first? The Swifts think not. So the New South Wales Swifts sporting the red uniforms. With the first centre go straight to the post, and it sticks for the skipper. The Swifts are on the board.
That's the first nerve settler. Casey Williams had a great stretch over Cox's shot then, so that pressure will remain all night. Cox will need to be on song.
Centre penalty pass.
Catherine Cox and Irene van Dijk each average 32 goals a game, so close attention will be paid to them, and they're both on the board. Van Dijk, the most accurate in the competition and second most prolific. The Swifts back play, GILSENAN assisting in attack. PURCELL. Vanessa WARE. Cox on leads near side of the court.
Magic is setting up a classic zone, diamond-shaped zone of defence. They're looking for the long cross-court ball or the high ball for Williams or Todd to come out of the circle and have a go at.
Pratley too. cool as you please. In fact, her partner was quoted in the Sydney papers today saying she's actually quite annoying how calm and collected she is in the lead up to the match, and she transfers that on court with her first shot. Tutaia hesitates, looks for Van Dijk, nearly caught unawares. But the Magic equalise. And that is the trend we expect to run right up until the last whistle.
Well, you would expect that with two sharp teams, both really sharp in the mid-court and sharp in the shooting department. That 1-2 between Tutaia and Van Dijk has developed across the season. We saw plenty of it last week in the semi-final against Thunderbirds. Tutaia came out of the circle and delivered the ball to Van Dijk.
What a magnificent start from the shooters on court. No misses so far. No signs of early nerves. Both composed, both measured and steady. Error-free netball.
While the shooting ends are fairly similar, the defensive lines aren't. The Swifts have started off a really tight man-on-man style of defence. As we see Rebecca BULLEY nearly pull off a miraculous intercept.
Rebecca BULLEY discounted by the Vixens, told she wasn't required in 2008. What a pick-up for the Swifts. She's become the general at the back.
And that was a great run, 1-2 between BULLEY and PURCELL. Just tipped it down to a teammate, and PURCELL ever ready. The Swifts are struggling to come through this zone, but they're showing plenty of patience, and that is what gets you through a zone.
Erin Van Dijk, we've spoken of her prowess in shooting, but she's quite lethal through the middle defensively as well. So that a danger. Contact call goes against Vanessa WARE, and that's a turnover for the Magic. Quickly they're down court. Two passes and one too many. That last with too much on it through the hands of Laura Langman.
We saw plenty of great passing like that from Magic last week, and you think to yourself, if they can do that for an entire game, they're unbeatable. But that's a really centimetre perfect style of play to have to play.
Langman, of course, a little unfamiliar at wing attack.
Advantage obstruction.
Green to WARE. Nice timing in the Swifts forward line. Pratley positioned close to the post.
That was a great delivery from WARE. She held on to it at the last second.
Precision perfect in the Swifts forward line.
And that's a dangerous way to get to Catherine Cox. She had a great hold and plenty of space behind her, but it's a gutsy move to go over Casey Williams. She's got an awesome vertical jump.
They've scored the last three on the trot, the Swifts. They lead 5-2. Well, Casey Williams not only has walked away with the Holden Captiva Player of the Year award, so she's driving around in a beautiful luxury car. She leads most counts, deflections, intercepts, rebounds, and if that's not intimidating enough, she's quite high up in obstructions and contacts as well, so she's willing. But she's not keeping up with Catherine Cox early in this match. Great deception on the feed. They're out by 4.
It was interesting looking at those year-long stats. The Swifts actually don't feature in many of them, including the bad ones. So it's interesting. Magic are quite high in good stats and bad stats. The Swifts have really, it's typical of their year. They've flown under the radar.
They're under pressure on the centre pass. The Magic trail by 5. Across they go to Tutaia, who's now out on leads. Erin Van Dijk positioned close to the post. Takes that one comfortably, just waits for BULLEY to clear. So Van Dijk with all 3 of the Magic goals.
That's a pattern that I think we're going to see with Tutaia leading out of the circle. Oh, Metcalf was in perfect position then.
Well, she saw it. She knew what to do. She just lost her footing on the floor. And at the other end, Casey Williams finds the goalpost.
That was a great drive from Cox. She drove along the baseline beautifully. Williams was there, but also so was the post.
Well, both running out of room, truth be told. Good praise from Catherine Cox this week for the bench. We just saw a shot of Leah SHOARD and Erin Bell, who haven't been on court but been so supportive. Cox is home alone at the back of the post. She's out now on leads. Oh, great, quick ball. Kimberlee Green. What a season she's having at centre.
Yeah, that was a great one too, and Cox would be cranky at herself that she didn't get her hands to that and pull it in.
And now the mid-court press is set up by the New South Wales Swifts. They pack the middle. GILSENAN marshalling the troops.
Yes.
Kimberlee Green stands out. That breaks the formation. Tutaia, Langman. That's on the ball. The call from Bronwyn Meeks.
Well, it's no surprise that's exactly where the ball was going. And it's funny when Kimberlee PURCELL lands on top of Erin Van Dijk, it's like a mosquito landing on top of someone's arm.
You've given her some nicknames this season.
Oh, yeah. Well, someone did say to me this week that Erin Van Dijk is built like a Norfolk pine and Kimberlee PURCELL's like a toothpick. So It's an enthralling battle, though. Purcell is one of the more, shall we say, annoying defenders going around. She's worked so beautifully on just keeping the ball out. And then that was a beautiful pass delivery then into Cox. The Swifts are really mixing up their approach to the circle. Cox is coming out. Sometimes she's sitting back and holding. It's a tough one to pick up that pattern defensively.
But plenty of room behind Casey Williams, and the Swifts are exploiting it. Nothing out the front for her to mow down. She loves to come out on the angles for the intercept. Magic bring one back. Nolly and Taurua doesn't look perturbed. Very calm customer on the sideline.
Well, this happened in the semi-final. Both teams swapped leads or swapped the lead, and both teams got out to reasonably good margins and ended up fairly tight.
Just to the difference at half-time 2 weeks ago. Then the Swifts claimed the third quarter of the major semi-final. There was good retaliation from the Magic in the final quarter, but not quite enough to take the match.
Well, that call then from Sharon Kelly telling Casey Williams that she was intimidating Cox, putting a hand in front of her eyes rather than at the ball. That's a tough one sometimes. Defensively, you sort of...
Adelaide Johnson and Emma Costa on the bench moments ago. Watchful, ready to step in defence if needed. Bully looking to connect with GILSENAN, misunderstanding as GILSENAN breaks back onto the ball, and that's a turnover going Magic's way. Jolene Henry will take the sideline throw-in.
There's been a couple of turnovers for both teams through the mid-court, so it just shows how effective that defence is from both sides.
Tutaia, who's doing a lot of work outside the circle, freeing up the close-range work for Irene Van Dyke. So whilst they have exchanged bibs, Van Dyke doing a lot of the post-shooting work.
Van Dyke is almost just floating back into the circle. Tutaia's leading out, creating space for her, letting her come in and set up the hold.
Again, Catherine Cox home alone at the post. It's been a feature of the first quarter. Great vision by the Swifts feeders. And Catherine Cox sitting on 9 straight goals. She averages 80%. One of the most prolific in the competition, the 32-year-old having a spree at the start of this match.
Oh, that was an unlucky call. Yes. I thought Rebecca Bully did a great job then. Moved her feet around, got her hands to the ball.
Speaking of step ladders for that final try, really needed it then. She gave it all, but was still short. Quite a target, Irene Van Dyke. Vanessa Ware asking for players to come forward, but Kim Green's into the rescue. Pratley working the moves in the circle. She's agile. Her timing is magnificent. And Todd, too late. Cox puts enough on it to bring it back. The Swifts out by 5. They lead 12-7. What a start from the home side. That will be off Swifts defender. Yes. Rebecca Bully getting a piece of it. So the throw-in with Magic. Irene Van Dyke offering
come in the front
on hold.
Yes.
Quite trademark of her to have one arm tucked up. It's not really causing contact. It's just up and out of the way. The other arm on stretch, but I'm sure the umpires will keep an eye on it across the match.
You're kidding, aren't you? She causes contact every time with that arm and does push with it, but to her credit, she does it so that the umpires just do not see it. So that's how she sets up her hold.
I think that's why it wasn't doing too much then. She was within vision of Bronwyn Meeks. When she's on the offside, she might put it to better use. Pratley takes the Swifts to 13. Magic centre, Langman tries to find her way. It's a pausing call against Kim Green, who just dropped the shoulder. That's the interpretation from Bronwyn Meeks. Imogen Metcalf feeds it to Van Dyke.
Oh, that was a great block from Rebecca Bully. Van Dyke does have a very low release of a shot for a tall girl, so her shot is very blockable if you can just time it right. Bully looked to have got a hand on the ball then too late.
Shooting match between Kath Cox and Irene Van Dyke. Van Dyke 9 from 9 and Cox 10 straight goals. So setting up exactly as fans had hoped. Two of the best in the world going head-to-head in the shooting department. Here's a fast break from the Magic. Held up now on the edge of the circle.
Well, Magic do that fast break so well. As soon as they turn around and get that flow on, they are incredibly hard to stop. And they've got such great targets at the end with Tutaia and Van Dyke.
Tutaia finds her first goal of the match. It's taken her over 10 minutes. Yes. Just over 4 minutes remaining until the first break. And the balance has been with the host side. The New South Wales Swifts have opened in great form.
heading though into the last 5 minutes of the quarter, and that's the real championship time when the best team or the better team steps up and runs in some goals.
Well, they're not in any hurry. They're certainly not in any panic. The Magic just gnawing away at the lead, down to 2 now. They've scored the last 3. PURCELL just considers her options.
Wing attack, wing. Stay back on there, send the pass.
Just a warning in back play you probably could hear from Bronwyn Meek. She was addressing it to Laura Langman, who's trying to jump the centre and work defensively, and she just warned her to stay back on the opposing centre pass. It was acknowledged by Langman. Pratley goes to the post with Casey Williams out of play. She's off the mark too soon. Dejected expression on the face of Casey Williams.
That is frustrating when that happens.
She's like a naughty girl sent to the room.
Well, there's some warm-up going on out the back. That's not unusual, though. Most teams will warm up their entire bench a few minutes out from the quarter, half and three-quarter time breaks.
Defense, penalty pass.
3 the difference. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
Contact and offside, wing.
Well, the stadium is a pressure cooker, but there's a lid on this match as they quietly work each other out. Swifts getting out to a strong lead. Now it's back to 2 the difference. Vanessa WARE floats over the transverse line. The double play read well by Amy Jean Metcalf. She's been quite useful defensively, but that another great one into Susan Pratley. The shooters applaud the vision.
Great ball then from Kimberlee Green, and the beauty of that was the Swifts backed up for everything, every crumb that came their way.
And a nice reply at the other end from the Magic. Tutaye puts up her second shot. 15 plays 12. As time is called by Kim Green, by the look of it, received a cork.
Yeah, she looks to have got a knock on her right leg. So Sean Mungovan is out taking care of her, getting his moment on television.
Well, he works hard enough for it. Don't begrudge him that.
This is true.
A real asset in the medical staff for the New South Wales Swifts. Kimberlee Green appears to have cork to the right quad, just above that right knee, so the ice pack goes on swiftly to the Swifts centre. Just 22 years of age. Her opposing centre, Amy G. Metcalf, 34, so she's giving away a wealth of experience, but by gosh, she has made a name for herself and surely caught the eye of Australian selectors so far in this competition.
You would think so, and I did hear a rumour that one of the reasons behind Laura Langman's move into wing attack was because she was shattered after her performance against Kimberlee Green and felt that Green had got one over her, so it was initially meant to build up her confidence, get her back into that feeding role, and it has worked for them.
Well, there's the nod from Sean Mungovan. She's right, he said, and sends her out. 2 minutes 10 on the clock. Swift centre. Pratley, again. Really shut down. Jolene Henry this time hunting.
Well, the Swifts do play on the edge of everything, and they push their passes out. And they tend to just miss the defensive hands by millimetres, so they'll be tested on everything for that tonight by such a great defensive combination that Magic have.
3 the margin. 2 the difference with respect to attempts. Brilliant shooting from both sides, particularly the Swifts. They're shooting at 100%, and the Magic a shabby 93%. That are big numbers for a match of this importance.
Well, speaking of big numbers, Irene Van Dyke
Contact centre.
has had 12 from 12 at goal attack. Only 2 from 3 from Tutaye. Swifts, Catherine Cox at 10 from 10. Pratley at 6 from 6, 100%. And Cox keeps that going. What I was going to say about big numbers was Van Dyke, sitting at goal attack, has had 12 attempts. So you would think that the Swifts might start to sit a lot more on her in terms of a double defensive style of play. Let Tutaye go out there and look for the ball.
Laura Langman at wing defence doesn't have to do a lot of feeding and just expose them. Now that she's at wing attack, they need to be centimetre perfect. They need to be well read, and she just fired one in. BULLEY had the better position, so it's back in the Swifts' hands. Catherine Cox shooting at 100%, and that last shot, that long-range bomb, ought to be worth 3. That's a different game, though.
That is a different game.
But it was a majestic shot from the skipper. And Susan Pratley, not too shabby either. Looking for her 7th straight goal, and she finds it.
Well, Susan Pratley a few years ago in an old National League Grand Final shot 100%, so she's used to doing that in these pressure situations in her first ever Grand Final.
We really are looking at some of the world's best shooters. The Swifts have scored the last 3. They're out by 5. Van Dijk has managed 3 100% games in this match. She's sitting on 100% at the moment. They need to find her. Langman with the feed, swings it, and again, Langman responsible for an error. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some changes in the magic line as the players go to the first break. So just unravelled a little for the Magic in the last minute or so. The Swifts, though, in a good position. They're out by 5, having scored the last 3 on the trot. So they go to the first break. The New South Wales Swifts, 19. The Magic, 14.
Played on an old fiddle, isn't that right, Liz?
For better, for worse.
Claire Peacock's been arrested.
In sickness, in health.
As long as you know I didn't do it.
The minute I say to her I don't believe, then we're finished.
To love and to cherish.
You're a devious cow, you know that.
You slept with my husband, Leah.
Till deception do us part.
Don't you even think about coming home tonight because you won't get in. You sick lying psycho, you disgust me.
Coronation Street, Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30, TV1.
What did you expect? Elba just does what it should.
If I won Lotto, I'd go to Miami in a powerboat. I'd get one of those new CD player things. They're a bit like a tape deck, the tape recorder thing.
Oh, I'd get Milli Vanilli to play live in my backyard.
I'd go rollerblading around the world.
I'd buy my own sunbed.
I'd have a party so big you could see it from Google Earth.
There are 5.4 million in extra cash prizes to celebrate our 21st. What would you do?
I'd just be really happy.
New World, local netball's biggest fans.
I've got black and black or white and white.
They don't make black and white together. I could just dip the bride in chocolate, though.
Nuclear Mirror Demister, the only solution to steamed up mirrors. Contact your local electrical wholesaler or electrician for more information.
Feel good, good, feel good.
Is a cough frustrating you or keeping you awake at night? Whether it's a dry or chesty cough, Duratus works for coughs. Duratus Dry Cough Liquid Fort relieves a stubborn dry cough, while Duratus Chesty Cough Liquid Regular helps clear a chesty cough. Duratus cough liquids are ideal for the whole family, including children from 2 years old. Plus, they're sugar, lactose and gluten-free. Duratus works for coughs. Available only at pharmacies. Feel good. Health news for New Zealanders.
Viagra is a treatment for erection problems. Talk to your doctor about a free trial.
We all want a more comfortable home to live in. So when you're making changes from something as small as a new tap to building a whole new house, you need to think about future-proof building. For more information, visit fpb.co.nz now.
My most memorable Olympic moment would have to be Nigel Avery at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. As a young boy at boarding school, I used to go down to the local gym and watch him train, and to see him on the world stage in front of the Olympic rings, it made me think, that's what I want. The world focuses on you at that one time. The stage is yours, and weightlifting is an event where the only person that can influence your result is yourself. My goal for Beijing is to become the best ever New Zealand Olympic weightlifter.
19 goals to 14, the ANZ Championship Grand Final.
Teams 100% for Swifts, 93% for Magic. Contacts and obstruction, quite interesting. Bronwyn Meek is giving away the most penalties on court, the New Zealand umpire. Looked like in that first semi-final that the umpiring end had a fair bit of say about where penalties came from, and the turnovers, interestingly, 6-3. Magic given away 6. Of the 6 that they've given away, 4 have come from Laura Langman.
Second quarter underway. Swifts in possession with the centre. Kim Green puts it into play. She's circle edge. Pratley with the drive, takes front position on Williams, shoots past to misses. Williams with her first rebound.
Well, Magic are the best rebounding team in the competition. I think Casey Williams is first and Erin Van Dyke is third, but there's been nothing for them to pick up tonight.
Laura Langman can't take a trick. That one went through her hands, so another error against her name. And it's interesting, well, the accolades that we sing for Erin Van Dyke, she actually sits on the most fumbles, the most bad catches. The Swifts, though, capitalising on the fumble. The Magic now with possession, they would have gained anyway.
Well, you do wonder with Laura Langman, if she's playing in a position that she's not used to, if that's putting a little bit of extra pressure on herself, and that's leading to those turnovers.
Coming undone for the Magic as they throw another away. The Swifts back with the ball. GILSENAN patient, connects with Green.
Well, with Van Dyke out at goal attack, they get a little bit more mobility out there, and she's out there doing plenty of work. But what Magic don't have is when things get blocked up, they don't have a nippy, fast player out there to go out looking for the ball and creating some magic for them.
First miss for Pratley, first miss for Cox. But it's taken a while, second quarter. Magic has stalled again, and this one goes over the sideline. So they've had one through dropped hands, one thrown over the baseline, that one over the sideline. Bronwyn Meek says it's off a Swiss player, so Jolene Henry will take the throw-in.
Kimberlee Green wanted to argue that with her.
As you would. Chitaer Langman looking for the double play. The finish is with Van Dyke.
Obstruction.
Off balance, which is often the case with Irene, but a little more so than usual on that attempt. She makes good with the second and takes the Magic to 15.
Well, she gets off balance sometimes because she has that massive split on the take, so it's almost like she has needs a lot longer to get her feet sorted out before she takes a shot.
Smooth progress for the New South Wales Swifts down court. Cox holds up. She knows that Pratley has a move on. Steps to the side to clear some room. Another one goes past the majestic Casey Williams.
That is breaking way. Contact, goal attack, penalty pass.
Well, the Swifts all week have been doing lots of work on their defensive play, getting their hands up, and we heard Julie Fitzgerald tell them to get onto things defensively, and that's what led to that great intercept then from Kimberlee Green. She came off the back of some great hands-over work.
And absolutely uncontested in her flight down court. The offline marking of the Magic really not putting any pressure. They're slow to organise it in this second quarter. No pressure being put on the Swifts. Again, Green uncontested and able to deliver without hands over.
And Catherine Cox really using her body then to keep Jodie Todd away from that ball, and Kimberlee Green put it into some great space.
Time is called, and no surprise, it's Laura Langman that goes to the sideline. Will they use it to pull a positional switch? It certainly hasn't been a happy second quarter for the Silver Fern. So magnificent at wing defence and very handy at centre. Just looks a little out of sorts at wing attack.
Yeah, she does, and it's such an interesting thing for her to be in wing attack, where she does damage in centre is in her defensive work. Certainly it's not her feeding that she's renowned for. She's capable of doing it, so I'm not surprised to see those two now exchanging bibs, and Metcalf hasn't been overly useful in defence.
And there we see the bibs being exchanged. Metcalf moving from the centre to wing attack, and Laura Langman moving back to where she's more familiar at centre. So not hard to predict that change. And no surprises for the timeout being called when it was. The Swifts starting to mount another rolling maul a la Bledisloe.
I guess the only thing I'm surprised about was that they waited until early in the second quarter to do it, and that change didn't come at quarter time, which would have been a logical time for it.
You could see her fading away just before the first break. Catherine Cox doesn't care. She takes the New South Wales Swifts to 23. The Swifts have scored the last 3. And there we see the lineup changes. Metcalf now at wing attack, Langman at centre. So she will work closely with Jolene Henry, both in down court play and defensively. Van Dijk, long time between drinks for her. She puts up her 14th of the match. Interesting, many feared that the Magic hadn't yet put together their full 60 minutes of netball at their best. We're nowhere near it at the moment. They're below form, the Magic. They're slow to warm to the task. Green.
Well, Selina GILSENAN there doing a great job sitting up and backing up on the line, doing a job in attack as well as defence.
Great work, Casey Williams. Enormous pressure mounted over that shot on Pratley, and the shot missing as a result. So the Magic with a chance to bring themselves within one closer, but it's through the hands of Todd.
Yeah, now the Sydney Swifts, or New South Wales Swifts, sorry, set up a really usual sort of zone there. Nothing special, nothing outstanding, and Magic sort of looked up and it just looked like they were a bit scared to come through it.
Causing centre, penalty pass.
Well, Kim Green working hard to steal position there, but it's a causing call against her.
I reckon Cox was trying to sneak through then into space that wasn't there. So Bronwyn Meek pulling Casey Williams, but gosh, Williams was unlucky. Attackers always get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, she really hasn't had any impact so far in the game, has she? It's been all Catherine Cox. Van Dijk replies at the Magic end of the court, her 15th and the Magic's 17th. Maria Tutaia, very quiet, shooting a 2 from 3 at 67%. Swifts are out by 7.
They're in a very similar position to this in the semi-final, but Magic fought back, so they won't be sitting back and just hoping to cruise the game in at this early stage, even though they do have a great lead.
Great ball to Susan Pratley, and didn't she come in like a train? She steadies now for the shot under all sorts of pressure from Williams, with that little step clears the space.
Well, I sometimes think that Pratley just wants to balk too much just to move the defenders out of the way. Well, that was unlucky then. BULLEY went out looking, got a great hand to the ball.
Lucky, though, for the Magic, but bring themselves to 18.
Pratley's just more effective when she just stands and takes a shot, and I think that's what Catherine Cox will be telling her to do.
Catherine Cox is on leads at the moment.
Just inside the circle.
Bronwyn Meeks indicating the throwing position, so it'll have to be taken by one of the shooting pair. Pratley, good vision and great timing from Cox, catches the Magic defenders napping.
Laura Geitz there, looking a little more glamorous than she does when she plays. Mind you, she tends to look all right when she plays as well.
Just behind her, too, I think a shot of Jane Searle, this former Australian assistant coach, former Australian player. Well, they'll all be here. They may have had their own state allegiances prior to tonight, but they'll all be supporting the Swifts in this match, as will all of New Zealand be behind the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic, who are just starting to try and get themselves back into this match, but the timing is out.
Yeah, and we just saw Langman then, crucial in that turnover, just took up the space from Pratley and got a hand to it, and that's already she's looking more comfortable in that centre position. It's a great take from Van Dijk. It looked like that ball looked like it was going over the baseline.
Arms to go on forever. The Magic fans hushed, not used to watching their team stalled.
Oh, that is Magic play from the Swifts. Oh, sorry, pardon the pun.
Vicky Wilson, of course, led the Firebirds to a magnificent season. Unlucky not to make the top 4. They were in great form. We tagged the Giant Killers midway through the season. In fact, it was the New South Wales Swifts' loss to the Firebirds that really turned things around. I think they were motivated by that loss. Line-up change was called, and GILSENAN moved from centre back to wing defence. PURCELL and BULLEY started to work in the circle, and they haven't looked back, and they're not looking back at the moment. The Magic trying to motivate their side. They trail by 7 halfway through this second quarter.
Well, Bronwyn Meek has called Casey Williams for contact, and I thought Williams had front position then, and Casey Williams has every right to roll her eyes.
Both out. Both.
but it's probably indicates that the New Zealand umpire is where the penalties are for the attacking side. And the Swifts will have Bronwyn Meek in the last quarter, which is crucial.
Adelaide Johnson and Emma Costa applaud their side. Swifts are out by 8. That's a better release from Langman. Early, bit of height on it, too much for Bully.
Irene Van Dyke just gave Kimberlee Purcell one of the better hip and shoulders that I've seen this weekend at this precinct, and that includes the Bledisloe Cup. So Van Dyke has such a strong build, but she does do a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yeah, but I told you it wasn't the elbow, it was hip and shoulder there. She's just going to go through the repertoire.
Well, the shoulder charge is illegal in rugby, but clearly you're allowed to do it in netball.
Casey Williams has a happy moment. They've been few and far between for the Silver Fern keeper. Langman back plays it. They're stalled. They can't find progress into the centre third. Now they do. Langman. But it's tough and tight, the defence from the Swifts. They're manning up. Good take, though, from Van Dyke, who just rolls the ankle but steadies. Great shot from the Silver Fern shooter.
Well, that's the danger that Van Dyke runs when she does that huge split. She doesn't really know where she's going to land it.
Good ball to Metcalf. Stepping from Tutaye, who stumbled over Bully, who hit the deck. An unfortunate call for her. The Magic were just starting to get on a roll. They've scored the last 2.
Well, Bully then looked like she had that intercept for all the way covered for all intents and purposes and lost her footing at the last second.
Well, the Magic defenders now starting to retreat off the Swift shooters for fear of the penalties. So it's a really negative way to play, and we're used to seeing Williams coming out and stealing the intercept.
Yeah, I'd like to see her do a little more of that.
Good play then, though. Casey Williams coming forward, Todd working on the high ball. They just force the error off the back line. Magic in possession.
Well, Cox has been pulling that move a little bit tonight and looking for that long pass, but it's so risky, and Purcell just cooked it a little bit too much.
Vanish contact centre.
Again, a great take from Van Dyke, a good stretch and haul, and she brings Magic up to 23.
Well, Cox went out, created the space, and it's Jodie Todd that came through and contested that ball, and that's where the turnover came. But the pass probably came in from Purcell a little too late.
Yeah, it's good clean work, though, from Jodie Todd. It was the post, really, that got in Cox's way more than anything.
Where you are, shooter.
Tutaye with a long-range penalty. Purcell out of play. Thinks about it, but drops, and the Magic hit 24. They've scored the last couple.
Well, Tutaye is a great shooter from long range, and it's unusual to see her just dishing the ball off so often.
Casey Williams, front position, first the ball. Neither will retreat, and they take each other through the signage,
and
under
help
the
each other
stands.
That's
and
just...
both of them, all they want to know is, what's your call, Bronwyn Meeks?
And that is great commitment and a toss-up. We never see that.
Only of the competition, I think. The second one only of 2008. It's not usually in the umpire's repertoire. And I'm not sure whether that was for equal possession or great sliding into the signage, but they were given equal measure by Bronwyn Meeks. And the Swifts get the better of it.
Well, there's only been one toss-up won by Andrea Gilmore from the West Coast Fever this year, and no one clearly won that one.
The Swifts hit 30, and listen to the crowd. Acer Arena is going off. The Magic trying to stay in this race. That's a great ball to Van Dyke. Turned Van Dyke and the Swifts defenders. Good close shot. She won't miss from there. And she brings up number 20, Irene Van Dyke. The most prolific on court, just one more than Catherine Cox. The difference is 5. And whilst the Swifts are leading this race, it's a bit of a marathon, and I still think the end's unpredictable.
It is. And that deserved to be finished. It was a great take from Vanessa WARE, who just threw and hoped and found a captain.
Now, when you were looking at those stats, did it put the Falcon down against Catherine Cox that we so loved?
It didn't, actually.
Have to have a word.
Now, I reckon Irene Van Dyke is contacting there. She's pushing in as Tutaye's taking a shot, so perhaps that's a little bit of karma.
Well, you and Sharon Kelly both. That was the call. So possession back with the Swifts. GILSENAN decides they could do with holding up and reorganising the forward line. Catherine Cox balks the jump on Williams and draws a miss. Williams, though, with the rebound. She's starting to come to life. It's taken all of 28 minutes, but Casey Williams starting to make her mark in this match.
Well,
Jolene Henry, too, has been quiet.
She has. Casey Williams is doing a great job just getting up and forcing Cox and Pratley to balk on the shot, which is unusual for Cox in particular. She likes the rhythm.
Romelda Aitken, another onlooker in the crowd, one of the stars of this ANZ Championship, and we've just had official word. The crowd attendance tonight, 12,099. Now, they were hoping to beat the world record, which is 14,339, set in 2004 here at Acer Arena. That wasn't international.
That was, sorry, Annie, that was an interesting call from Sharon Kelly. She's pulled Jolene Henry for putting her elbow up as she took the ball, and clearly she did, but that's something that generally goes unnoticed. So Henry just needs to maybe keep her temper in check, perhaps, as on that take.
How ironic, though, many thinking that the Trans-Tasman influence may show bias. If anything, Bromwell Meeks particularly hard on the New Zealand defenders. Magic centre. They trail by 4, a minute out from half-time. The feet a little fragile on Maria Tutaia, but she comes up with the goal and she brings them back to 5 down. 32 plays 27. Lightning ball from Kimberlee Green to Cox, and Cox, wonderful reading of the break from Pratley. She puts a dodge on the baseline, and the understanding so obvious then between the shooting pair. Little step back from Pratley, and the Swifts hit 33, out by 6. They led by 5 at the first break. So this one running goal for goal, the Magic getting into the game more. Accuracy resting with the Magic at 93%.
Erin Van Dyke hasn't missed a shot yet, and she's the only one on court with a perfect record, and 22 shots from 22 attempts before half-time is a little ominous. I'd like to see the Swifts defenders sit back a lot more on Van Dyke, and maybe other players like Gilson and Green make it a lot harder for Van Dyke to get into the circle.
Langman getting underneath Green. She draws the contact. Todd, too, is out of play. Cox steps to the side. She adds another to the Swifts total before the half-time whistle. Or Langman lets it go. I thought she might have risked holding it. Will time deny them? Seconds still counting. No, they can't go to the post. And an emergency whistle comes from the reserve umpire, Jackie Deshari, to signal the end of that second period. It actually ran a couple of seconds over time, but it doesn't bother the New South Wales Swifts. They take the quarter by 1, and they go to the half-time break leading the Magic by 6. The New South Wales Swifts 34 lead the Magic 28. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
Coverage of the ANZ Netball Championship is proudly brought to you by Fisher & Paykel. No one's behind netball like we are.
You've got to ask yourself one question.
This week.
Do I feel lucky? Do you, punk?
One of these couples.
Can these boys take out the $50,000?
Will gamble on 50 grand.
One incorrect answer, it all disappears.
The Rich List. Tuesday, 8:30, TV1.
A treatment for erection problems. Talk to your doctor about a free trial.
If you feel we've breached broadcasting standards, send a formal complaint to us at the address on screen. There's more information on our website.
Buy any Panasonic high-def product at Better and be in to win. Panasonic 42-inch plasma only $1,799. Save $200. Or the 32-inch LCD now only $1,099.
Friends you want from the people you trust. Better Electrical.
New Holden Colorado. Powerful turbo diesel with 3-ton towing capacity on 4x4. Tough is a new name. Holden Colorado.
You know there's nothing that I wouldn't do when it comes to doing stuff for you. There ain't no mountain high enough, it's true. True, 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 true.
Genesis Energy would like to thank you, New Zealand, for doing your bit for climate change. Together, we're making a big difference to tomorrow.
Play Big Wednesday this week and you could win an Aston Martin V8 Vantage and this Audi Q7, plus $2 million. So grab your Big Wednesday ticket today.
Each bottle of Yakult contains 6.5 billion beneficial bacteria, and not just any bacteria, the Shirota strain, named after our founder, Dr. Shirota, in 1935. If you're looking for the genuine article, look for this symbol and this name. Yakult, everybody, every day.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chescon from World Vision. If you haven't yet responded to our appeal, please do so today. Call 0800 40 5000 and sponsor a child. Food costs have nearly doubled, and now drought in parts of Africa is making it even worse. It is simply not right that in our world, 17,000 children will die from hunger today. These are real children, and they desperately need your help. Sponsoring a child is the best way to provide long-term hope for a child, their family and their community. The situation is urgent, so please sponsor a child who needs you now. Call World Vision on 0800 40 5000 or go to our website. Thank you so much.
Do you suffer from sunken arches, flat feet, heel strike, heel spurs, run over heels, uneven leg lengths? Visit our neat feet orthotic stand, now with the new diabetic and full-length insoles. The right advice for your common foot problem at an affordable price from all leading pharmacies.
New World, local netball's biggest fans.
Great Erin Van Dijk leading a goal scorer on court so far in the match, 22 from 22. She's been moved back to goal shooter, so she's been anchored at the post. And joining Amanda is the Magic coach, Nolene Tarua.
Nolene, forced changes in the second quarter between Metcalf and Langman, and we've just noticed that Erin Van Dijk has been moved back. What are you hoping to get from the changes?
Yeah, we were getting ball, but we got a bit fragmented, especially through court. We weren't able to link up, so hopefully those changes will make a difference. Also, bringing back Erin, we need a lot of ball to actually get our shots up, so that's why the moves happened.
You've got it tough, 6 goals down, away from home. What do you have to do, and what did you tell the girls at half-time?
Yeah, it is tough, but in saying that, we're up to third quarter, so we've got a whole half an hour to go. We have to make a big dent in this quarter, and that's what we intend to do.
Thanks, go well.
Thank you.
Fragmented is a nice description of what's been happening in the Magic line. There isn't the cohesion we've come to expect from them.
Not at all, and I think that happens when the Swifts get their hands up over the ball. And Amanda Lucas is now with Julie Fitzgerald.
Julie, it's half-time. You've got it up. What do you have to do to win the ANZ Championship?
I thought we got a little bit undisciplined, a bit long at times there, so we have to maintain that all the way through.
Well, good luck.
Catherine Cox still remains a picture of cool, calm and collected. And why not? They're out by 6. Time enough for a chat with international Casey Williams. They'll probably go another round or two later in the year. International scheduled between the two countries in September, and then again later in the year. Kim Green hoping to be part of that event. But at the moment, the match at hand, the question is how to go about winning the prestigious ANZ Championship trophy. Kim Green has possession for the start of the third quarter. The New South Wales Swifts won that second quarter by 1 goal. Changes for the Magic hope to remedy the situation. Catherine Cox first to score in the third period. Swifts hit 35. Langman now at centre. Tutayer at goal attack. And they're denied their first possession, so unable to make good with possession. The Magic turn up the ball yet again. It's not going to be a stat they'll enjoy seeing after the match. Wasted opportunity. Brilliant ball. Pratley via the floorboards.
By Cox's knee into her hands. The Swifts had a great 14-7 quarter, 17-9 third quarter in the semi-final, and they built their lead and built that win on that great third quarter. So it's often called the championship quarter for a reason.
Cox with another opportunity, comes back at a well contested equally by Cox and Williams. Kimberlee Green wants a piece. The circle will stop her going all out. Metcalf. Chitaye's looking to link with Van Dijk. It's not an easy link. It's an easy shot though, and Van Dijk hits 23.
Well, Van Dijk does have a great ability to take balls that look like they're going out of court. She reaches over the baseline and picks it up, and that's obviously the game plan. It's not hard to pick for Magic. Just get the ball to Van Dijk. It's not a bad game plan.
Not a bad game plan. Advantage call then on Rebecca Bulley, who didn't retreat distance on the shot. Thought she'd try that one out. Just keep an eye on the whistle from Bronwyn Meeks. It may be costly. Pratley under pressure from Williams is mixing up the work over the shot. Van Dijk adds another 25. And she's relaxed.
Well, the ball is coming to Van Dijk really easily. So Purcell and Bulley need to think of another strategy.
Well, I guess you have to ask a similar question as we did in the second quarter. Why the delay in changing Metcalf and Langman? Why didn't it come sooner? I ask the same of the shooting duo.
Yeah, and there's no real answer to that. Nolene Tyrrell Barnett sat with that combination for the last couple of games of the last few rounds and then into the semis, and it seems to have worked for them, but it takes Van Dijk out of the scoring zone, which is where she's so effective.
Great shot then of the ANZ Championship trophy. I'm just concerned, I think
Spinning out of court, both out.
it was said that the Bledisloe Cup holds about 35, 37 cans of beer, and I'm wondering how many champagne flutes are held in that ANZ Championship trophy. And the design, stunning as it is, I don't think it's going to hold fluid. It's a worry.
It's a leaky old trophy, that one. Clearly not designed by the players.
Absolutely beautiful piece of hardware. Will be in the hands of one of these captains, either Catherine Cox or Amy Jean Metcalf. One of the few misses, and there is the hardware, the ANZ Championship trophy. I'm not sure where the champagne will go. So Phil Kearns will probably be sticking with his concept of the Bledisloe Cup, and we'll enjoy that one. It'll be in hand soon enough. Both teams finding ways to spoil opportunities. The difference is 6.
Well, Metcalf then saw the Swifts defender's eyes down and thought she could get a sneaky little ball over their heads, but Van Dijk also had her eyes down.
Contact, top of the circle.
Penalty is set at the top of the circle. Cox puts on the hold. You could throw a tissue over all 4. Cox comes up with the ball and the goal. The Swifts take it to 39, out by 7.
Well, Cox and Pratley do set such great screens for each other, and they can do it in a really small space, so that makes it really difficult to get around and defend.
They swing it cross court. They're looking for Van Dijk. It was a low-flying missile.
It was, and I'm still standing by my assertion that Van Dijk stands there and uses her hips and does not get pulled for it. She pushed Bulley right out of the way. Then I'd like to see Rebecca Bulley start to push back. Just let her know she's in the contest.
How can it be, though, so many penalties called in the last quarter of the game at Bronwyn Meeks' end of the court, but something like that not seen?
Yeah, well, you know, I spent a whole career wondering that, but I'll stop whinging.
Yeah, now would be a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And
Metcalf tries the quick release to Van Dijk. Good pressure over the ball, and the Swifts come up with possession. Magnificent defence mounted. As we look at the rebound statistic, which is quite imbalanced.
It is 6-1, and it took a while for Magic to get on board with the rebounds because there were none.
Contact, goal attack.
But as soon as the misses came up with Cox...
Oh, turnover there. Jodie Todd comes up with the intercept.
Yeah, Purcell just stepped on then and took all the space for herself.
Speaking of imbalances, so too is the scoreline, but I think that scoreline should come with a disclosure. Beware the Magic. They may well run it home. Maria Tutaia starting to come to life now that she's forward. She actually was interviewed during the week, and she said she prefers the forward position. Feels like she's got more room to move. Oh, great take from Catherine Cox. Anchored the landed foot and threw everything into the catch. She's got good position held for rebound, and the offload is available for Pratley. And they go past 40. The Swifts are on 41. They're having a good third quarter. Well, almost a replay. Went to let it go, controlled it, brought it back. Tutayer hesitates. Brings up her 8th goal.
PURCELL putting everything into that defence of the shot. But Tutayer has got a really nice rhythm to her shot. And when she gets into it, that's when she's dangerous because she can take the shot from anywhere.
Green looking for spaces to feed the ball. They're few and far between, but she finds the skipper.
Well, Pratley really made that space then by the drive, and that allowed Green.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Oh, Rebecca BULLEY is just getting so close, getting her hands right up there, using her feet beautifully.
Well, she was very conscious. We could hear her in one of those courtside huddles saying she knows they shouldn't move off the mark too soon. They're wanting them to do that. They need to wait that bit longer. If anything, Van Dijk is moving off the mark too soon for the feeders.
Yeah, she is. And as you would expect, the goalkeepers are the most costly for penalties. Swifts goalkeeper Rebecca BULLEY on 10. Interestingly, though, Kim Green on 9, but she is the only Swift with an intercept to her name, so she's doing a lot of work defensively.
I think her defensive game's improved out of sight. She's much more offline, very clean on reading the game. And GILSENAN so strong from over the ball.
Oh, and she picks it up.
Todd. Selina GILSENAN. Well, if this is her last game, they'll build a statue outside Acer Arena for her, and I'll help.
Well, what a game she's having, but she might want to have a word to Kim Green. It's just so hard for the Swifts to come up with the ball in defence because of Van Dijk sitting down there as a target that every time they get their hands on it, they need to use it. They need to build that lead.
Into the pocket to Metcalf. It's read by PURCELL. Erin Van Dijk sneaks in the back door, and the Magic hit 37-5 the difference. The visitors have scored the last 2, and they're starting to build some momentum. Mind you, it's taken them half a game. Will this be a game of 2 halves, 2 different games within a game? Tutayer looking for closer range.
Throw and circle.
That's great work then from Kim Green. Used her feet, used her offhand to get around.
Quick ball into Van Dijk.
Oh, Rebecca BULLEY is so close to those. She's just going a little bit too early, catching the ball while it's still in Van Dijk's hands. I was going to say, Van Dijk is, for a tall girl, she has a great turn of speed, and he really can be lethal across that baseline as well as on the hold.
Well, Van Dijk with 157 caps to her credit, and Rebecca BULLEY yet as Casey Williams takes a screamer. She is here. She's back. I don't know where she's been hiding. She's been in the tunnel, but that was trademark Casey Williams and finished brilliantly by Tutayer, and Van Dijk slaps the hands in the air. The Magic are back in town, and a bit of razzle-dazzle now creeping into their game.
Well, Magic have scored the last 4, and it's work like that from your goalkeeper that can spur a team into action, and this final looks like it's going to hot up.
Well, I was about to say, Rebecca BULLEY yet to play an international, has played on Van Dijk before. It was for the Australian 21s in a lead-up match to the Com Games, and she's such a gorgeous creature, Rebecca BULLEY. She said that Erin Van Dijk actually slapped her on the back at one point in the game, and she figures it's because she felt sorry for her. There'll be none of that in this match. Pratley for the settler. Who better? There's the bench. Julie Fitzgerald a little more anxious. They've lulled her into a false sense of security, and now the Magic are looking into their bag of tricks. Todd to Metcalf. Oh, Kimberlee PURCELL, she does want a headline.
Selina GILSENAN doing a huge amount of work in attack, and she is the person whose job it is to bring the ball down for the Swifts and allow WARE and Green time and space to...
Henry.
Great chase. Great chase from Pratley, and I think we're going to see plenty more of that, and the players starting to put their body on the line as this game winds down.
Well, we said before there was like a lid on the pressure cooker. They were aware they had to be patient and steady. Now they're sensing that they are running out of time. Just 1 quarter remains after this, unless we go into precious extra time.
That was a great shot from Cox then. Williams was doing a fantastic job of getting over the shot, and Cox had to move along and regain a balance.
Double play, Vanessa WARE, such a safe and sure feeder, finds Pratley, who finds her mark. Susan Pratley shooting at 81%.
Oh, Selina GILSENAN going oh so close then. You sort of live these intercepts with the girls as they go for them.
Van Dijk, sandwich.
Contact on the ball.
For the difference. It was 6 when they came on for this third quarter. But the reshuffling in the Magic line has been rewarded. Players starting to find form. Nolan Taru would be pleased about that.
Well, Magic have found their way to the circle a lot easier and also found their shooters a lot easier. The Swifts are having to work a lot harder and Cox having to really push away around the top of the circle just to get hold of the ball.
To the post she goes, as she should. Catherine Cox in magnificent form, leads by example. Oh, an unlucky one. She tried to bounce to regain possession. It's off the foot.
Well, Vanessa Ware did all the work then, got a hand to it. Looked like Henry was just doing enough work to pick it up and just had a fumble at the end.
Out by 5. Catherine Cox pirouettes, top of the circle. Lovely ball. Vanessa Ware again, instrumental in finding the space.
Cox had presented beautifully then, but she turned around and clapped Vanessa Ware for looking beyond her to what was behind her. It's probably that level of confidence that she gets from a captain that has allowed someone like Vanessa Ware to do exactly that.
Absolutely sensational take by Vanessa Ware. Off balance, backwards, takes it, lands it to the skipper, one of the unsung heroes of this Swifts line, young Vanessa Ware, just 23 years of age.
Well, she's been instrumental in the last few minutes, has forced a turnover and delivered 2 great feeds to her shooters. Sharon Kelly having plenty to say to Jolene Henry there, and Jolene Henry is no stranger to having the umpires tell her to button it.
Oh, GILSENAN again gets a handle. Out of play though, and Langman takes the penalty. Pass or shot closer to the post. Erin Van Dyke will do the honours. PURCELL is out.
Contact on the ball.
6 the difference, back where they started when they took the court at after half time. So they're running goal for goal. The Magic though getting as close as 2. Just couldn't hold, couldn't keep the pressure on.
Yes. Vantage offside centre.
And Pratley then having a real good look at the centre court as she walked up and used that couple of seconds that she got retrieving the ball to set up a play.
Magnificent crowd enjoying this spectacle. Some of the world's best netballers locked in Trans-Tasman battle.
Contact.
Metcalf holds a nice space on the circle edge. Van Dyke juggles. Well, I think I'd be surprised if she went to the post in a balanced manner. It's trademark for her, isn't it, to be turning and offline.
She actually walks in on the shot often, takes a big step in.
Strong hold from Catherine Cox. Strong stance, but Williams too strong on the rebound. Oh, she looks for the drive, but Cox is there, and she won't give her a centimetre.
What Williams did well then was just jump a number of times and not break a distance. That's a really tough thing to do, because what you want to do is run in.
Instruction, keep it.
Langman did well to run that down. It was an untidy approach to the Magic circle. Van Dyke, though, makes it look good with the finish, and they're back to trail by 5, centre to follow. Into the final minute until 3/4 time, an important section for the Magic. Time enough to get a couple up. They catch Rebecca Bulley with her head down. Another low missile.
Well, Metcalf delivered a number of balls like that into Van Dyke last week in that preliminary final against the Thunderbirds. So the Swifts are on notice that's what she's looking for, to have the defender's eyes down and deliver that low, hard ball.
3 on the trot for the Magic. They'll be looking to stop the Swifts on this one. Williams hesitates. Up they go for the rebound. Oh, it's off the keeper. Throw-in played quickly by Catherine Cox.
And Cox set up a beautiful screen then for Pratley.
Again, put in by Vanessa Ware. She is having a blinder, the young Swifts wing attack.
Well, Sharon Kelly letting plenty go there on the contest and the ball, and that's what's going to happen in the last quarter.
Well, the Swifts hit the half century just before the whistle that signals 3/4 time. 5 the difference. They're not done yet, though, but the New South Wales Swifts with a little bit of a breathing space on the Magic. It's 50 plays 45. Back after the break.
I think I might have killed her.
If you've done it once.
Sorry, can we please go now?
You've got a tongue on you, that's your problem, Denise.
Can you do it again?
I want you to do something for me. I want to make this hole big enough for two.
Taking PMS,
Oh my God.
to a whole new level. Barry and Brian, Wednesday, 8:30, TV1.
I got wind. W for 4, I for 1, and N for 1. That's 8.
Are you sure about that, baby?
It's 6.
It's 6?
Oh yeah, it's 6.
6 is good, son.
Learning doesn't just have to happen in the classroom. Set aside 20 minutes to play a game with your kids. It's a great way to be involved with them and help them learn. So turn learning into a game. It doesn't take long, it's fun, and everyone wins. Raise the roof. Go on, team up. Play games with your kids and make learning fun.
Do you suffer from sunken arches, flat feet, heel strike, heel spurs, run over heels, uneven leg lengths? Visit our Neat Feet Orthotic stand, now with the new diabetic and full-length insoles. The right advice for your common foot problem at an affordable price from all leading pharmacies.
Most jobs require more than one A-frame ladder. How'd you like to own a ladder that gives you 24 different sizes? Well, check this out. The Transformer ladder. It solves the problem you have of storing and transporting large ladders. But don't be fooled by its compactness. It's still a ladder that fits your needs. The secret is it has the ability to telescope. Now, stop at any rung, you get a different size ladder. Now, with a conventional A-frame ladder, you get one size and one size only. With the Transformer ladder, though, we've shown you 4 different sizes in one. Now, if you ever had to work on a staircase with a ladder, you know it can be downright dangerous. With the Transformer ladder, though, you can adjust it on either side. So now you can work on staircases, sloping surfaces, even ramps in a very, very safe manner. With the Transformer ladder, you can adjust it onto an almost 90-degree angle, so now you can get right up close to your work and into those tight spots. The Transformer ladder far exceeds all Australian and New Zealand safety standards for ladders. Now, if you need a longer ladder, simply release the 2 lock tabs and walk the ladder out. Notice how they automatically lock into place. Now, this will give us the equivalent of a 5.2-metre lean-to extension ladder. That'll reach a 2nd-storey window on a 2-storey structure. Now, right when you thought you'd seen it all, out comes the insert. Now, this turns into a 1.2-metre trestle. Now, turn this piece here around and lock these 2 lock tabs into place. Now we wind up with 2 1.2-metre trestles. With the aid of a scaffolding plank, you will now have the advantage of your very own time-saving, portable scaffolding system. Now, if you want to cover a longer area, simply use a longer plank. If it's up too high, simply put it on the rungs down below. They all line up perfectly. Now, I've got one more thing to show you, and then we're done. It's an important accessory to our ladder. It's a work platform. Now, place it on any rung on the ladder and simply slide it in. Now, walk right up through it. Simply slide it back. Now it's like having both feet firmly planted on the ground. You've got your both hands free to face your work and do your work. It makes it so much simple. One thing you won't get, though, is aching ankles and arches from standing on those rungs all day. Now, most people get more than one work platform. You have one to stand on here, and you put the other one up here for those important things like your tools or your cup of tea. Now, I want you to think about what I've shown you here today. I've shown you 24 different sizes of ladder, all in one portable, compact, easy-to-use unit. The Transformer ladder replaces 3 regular ladders that could cost you over $1,200. But here today, we've worked out a very special offer for the viewers. Plus, if you're one of the first 10 people to order, I'm going to give you not 1, but 2 of our work platforms. That's a $240 value, absolutely free. So call now on 0800 008 009. The Transformer ladder comes with a lifetime guarantee, and in my opinion, it's the world's strongest, safest ladder.
For what we're getting down here, we might have to wear them a bit more, wear them on in 3 foot. Yeah, so wear them a bit more, we've got to take the body in there. Okay? Really get your angles. If you're going out there, you go out there strong to get the ball. Yeah, really sharp angles. Cut. We're nearly there, girls. Got to break it through.
Nolene Tarua telling her troops, you're nearly there, girls. Work the angles, work the cuts, wear them. Eloise Southby-Halbish, what's the news at the other end of the court?
Well, Julie Fitzgerald was actually quite relaxed. She went to her defenders and said, we'll go for everything, leave no stone unturned in this last quarter to win the championship. And to her centre court players, she said, make sure you keep driving. She wants full court driving all the way through this quarter.
Well, 15 minutes until we find out who will be the inaugural ANZ Championship trophy holders. Will it be the New South Wales Swifts? Will it be the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic? The hopes of Australia and New Zealand divided on this one. Catherine Cox knows they're in the box seat. They'll have to lose it from here.
Yeah, although Magic have a great ability to score quickly, score often. You'd think 60 goals would be enough to win this sort of game, but Magic can score so quickly, so set for a thriller, strap in.
Well, it's a harsh slogan that says you don't win silver, you lose gold. Neither team deserving. Both have been magnificent. Susan Pratley leaps high for the first take, and so does Casey Williams. She doesn't have anywhere to land it, draws the penalty, and she's insisting on urgent delivery of the ball. Yeah, a woman on a mission.
She's pumped, and you don't often see that from her. She's a pretty laid-back character.
Wasn't laid back last week in the prelim final against the Thunderbirds. She threw everything into that, particularly in the final quarter. So another disclosure. Beware Casey Williams as the Magic, the first to score in the third quarter. Centre to follow. They trail by 4. Langman to Tael, who started the game at goal shooter, and Van Dijk, who started forward at goal attack.
Magic, sideline.
They'll regain possession through the throw-in.
It's a great tip from Gilsenan, and the Swifts' defensive line will have it just in their minds that when Van Dijk is out of the circle with the ball in her hands, you want to put plenty of pressure on everyone around her.
Van Dijk was open behind Tutayer, but they went by the closer of the two shooters.
Rebecca Bulley trying to talk Sharon Kelly into changing her mind.
Oh, well, we don't often see it. Quite legal. The crowd boos. Some of them would never have seen it. Quite legitimate. We saw the defence sag back and pay attention to Van Dijk. Clever work from Maria Tutayer, who used the post, allowed the ball to land, then regathered.
Gutsy move to pull in a grand final when you're down by 4.
Now 3. So she really did use the head, Maria Tutayer.
But it's moves like that that can pull it back for a team and get everyone pumped up and going. And it's shots like that that can do the same thing.
Absolutely. She will not be put off her mission. Metcalf snatched by Van Dijk.
Van Dijk started in the top of the circle. Despite Bulley's best efforts, rolled back to the post. She just makes up so much space with that split.
Pratley fights her way around Jolene Henry, who's now moved back to goal defence and teams up with Williams, who takes another sensational intercept. Nicola Pettit has come on at wing defence for the Magic, so we've seen changes in their back line. Nolene Taurua has pulled every move possible to try and salvage this game.
Vanish contact centre.
Just made it over the fingertips of Purcell. Van Dijk remains on 100%. That is her 38th goal of the match. Casey Williams, absolutely splendid in defence, gave them that opportunity.
Well, Cox and Pratley need to remember that Williams is so good in the air. You just can't put those balls up and allow her to be in there.
Oh, lucky call. That was an offside call. Erin Van Dijk absolutely hammered on the take. Nolene Taurua gets to her feet. She doesn't like it.
I love it. I'm sorry. All shackles are off. I'm a Swift at heart.
Vanessa Ware to Pratley. Gilsenan. Kim Green tries to work the front cut on Langman and has to put a bit in on the way.
Both teams really flirting with pushing their way through for the ball.
Oh, from the ground goes Casey Williams.
Oh, and Casey Williams ripped off again, I reckon. She's had a brilliant, brilliant go at that.
Yes.
I actually thought she might have gone from playing at it from the ground, which would have been a fairer decision, but she's gone on the contact. Swifts out by 3. Cox shooting at 86%. 32 of the Swifts goals credited to her, and Pratley at 80%. Well, Vanessa Ware links with Cox.
In the semi-final, Cox had 41 goals, so she's sitting It's fairly pretty to sort of hit that mark again. Pratley was pretty quiet in that game, only had 16 goals, but already she's surpassed that, and they're sharing the effort more this time around and scoring more goals.
The bench signalling to the on-court players for the Swifts.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Or flirting with the short pass ruling then, Langman and Van Dyke.
Langman flirting then with the rule that says that you must allow the out-of-play player to set up.
The drop short, now the turnover. Van Dyke with a piece of defence. She's caught on the far sideline, sprints down past Sharon Kelly.
Yes!
Tries again, Bully out. Well, it's toing and throwing, and it's magnificent in the contest.
It is. Erin Van Dyke then did a great job not to go offside. Got a hand to the ball, allowed a teammate to collect it, and stayed onside but off court.
Well, Catherine Cox said during the week, don't expect it to be pretty netball. It may get ugly. This is what she meant. This is not pretty netball, but it's tough and it's hard fought, and that's what it's going to take to win this title as Cox adds another and the Swifts go out by 5.
The Swifts are in the box seat. They've got that 5-goal buffer. They've also got a mid-court and a front line who have played with precision all year.
Williams goes down in back play. Pratley with a quick double play with WARE. Insult to injury for Williams, who just got herself up off the floor. Cox rebounds, has to fight Williams for it, flicks the fingers, and as you please, number 34 for Catherine Cox.
Erin Bell and Leah SHOARD there, giving everything on the bench as well. They'll feel like they've played a game at the end of this.
Langman fights for circle edge position. Tutaye missed the last shot, and this one comes back at her.
This is what the Swifts defensive line are wanting. You want to make Maria Tutaye take the shot. She's not had the chance to get into a rhythm by scoring a lot of goals early, so make her take the pressure ones now.
Oh, good deception from Susan Pratley. They were displaying great patience. She looked as if it'd go out to her feet, swung it into the leader.
It's a great shot from KOSTER.
Julie Fitzgerald just lets out a breath. She can't believe what she's watching.
Well, perhaps she finally understands that 12,000 people are going to drown out her voice.
And another, same as the other. The Swifts have scored the last 6 on the trot. They've taken the total to 57. 57 goals was their total 2 weeks ago in Hamilton when they defeated the Magic by 1. Catherine Cox, as you mentioned, on a 41-goal spree at 87%.
Van Dyke having her first miss of the game. So impressive to get into the last quarter of a grand final, having shot 39 goals or 38 goals before you have your first miss.
They set the penalty eventually, and the Magic hit 50. They trail by 7. Have they got the heart and the spirit to come back? Van Dyke at 98%. Tutaye at 73%.
Kind of obstruction away.
Double play being so often utilised in the circle for the Swifts. The Swifts 58. Surely, Julie Fitzgerald says, surely that is a winning margin.
You'd hope so, but with 7.5 minutes to go, stranger things have happened on a netball court. So the coach would be saying, or wanting to say to her team,
wing defence.
Don't put the covers on, don't stop.
Wait for her. Yep.
GILSENAN takes the penalty. Sorry, GILSENAN steps out of play for the penalty. PURCELL almost takes the intercept.
Advantage offside centre.
Stray ball, no man's land, misunderstanding in the Magic line.
Well, it's no surprise that Selina GILSENAN picked that up.
Contact shooter, goal.
She's been around the circle edge, scavenging for everything.
GILSENAN to Green. Vanessa WARE offers. Just behind her comes Pratley. Offers aplenty in the Swifts forward line. Everybody willing to help the other. It's a full team effort by the girls in red. Magic with the turnover. They need 4 turnovers and sweet conversions off possession to do it.
And a little bit of luck, and that's what's not going their way at the moment. So often the ball isn't swinging to them.
Advantage obstruction. Keeper, contact.
Goes against Rebecca Bullley. Tutaye offloads the penalty to Van Dyke.
Yep. Goal defence.
And Kimberlee PURCELL smiling then. Yep. Van Dyke back straight back into her butt. Gets the call. PURCELL probably started to lean into Van Dyke then, and that's what Sharon Kelly saw was that second movement.
Cox on leads. Into the pocket to Green they go. Pratley holds strong, but Jolene Henry pushes her off the mark.
Well, Jolene Henry looks to have come into the circle and been told to be a bit of an enforcer, get in there and push her way around, and she's done that the last few plays. So Pratley will have to stand up to that because it's not going to ease in the next 5.5 minutes.
Casey Williams not happy. It was a magnificent display of athleticism. That wasn't from Henry, but the jump over the shot was beautifully executed. Obstruction was the call. Up they go to Van Dyke. Just over 5 minutes. The Magic hit 52. They trail by 7. Swifts now back playing, patient through the middle. They know there's no rush. They have the security blanket of a 7-goal lead. 5 minutes to play. Steady netball.
Contact centre, penalty pass. Obstruction.
And Cox and Pratley were both set up for that space then, so it was almost a case of you go, no, you go, no, you get it.
Well, they've gone and they've hit 60.
Selina Gilson has done a great job off the line in the centre passes. Has really cut off Metcalf's lead to the ball and has made it hard for Magic to find their captain and playmaker off the centre pass.
Goal defence contact, pass or shot.
I look at that picture and I see the height of Van Dyke and Tutaer, and I still have to wonder how two smaller, less experienced players have made it so hard for international grades.
I guess they're both used to playing that holding sort of style of shooting, so Magic don't have the speed of a little goal attack like a Pratley or a McMahon to get out there and get the ball and bring it back to the shooter.
Defense, penalty pass.
Ella, we've had you on the sideline. It's been so busy and not much time to get to you. What's the feeling like courtside? Is this done and dusted for the Swifts?
Well, it's never over until the end of the final whistle, but I think the Swifts are looking the goods. They just seem quite composed in the way they're attacking the ball, so just got to make sure they keep possession over the next couple of minutes.
Well, I think the clock and misfortune will defeat the Magic. They knew they needed to bring their A game. It hasn't been their A game. We've seen patches of brilliance, but patches won't do it because there's been few chinks in the armour of the New South Wales Swifts as Catherine Cox has a look at it, leans out of it, fires another.
Just like the other 38 she shot.
Oh, just in superb form. What a season she's had. We spoke about how she reinvented herself last season. I think vintage best from the skipper. Look at the bench. Tiff Lincoln, Emma Costa to the left. Adelaide Johnson.
Tiff Lincoln and Erin Bell haven't received any court time this year, yet they're the ones who are screaming the loudest. And that's what you want from your bench players. They're part of the team. It's a full team effort.
But they've had some great scrimmages at training, and that's what the Swifts have relied on. They say their in-house training is as tough as you can get on the world stage, and that's what they look to hone their skills, and it would appear it's done the trick. Julie Fitzgerald knows they have it in the bag. Out by 9, centre to follow. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining. Who would have thought, and they know that many of the punters wrote them off as grand finalists or title contenders. Many hoped they'd make the playoffs. In their heart of hearts, they too are possibly surprised. It's been an absolutely sensational season.
Well, as much as I love the Swifts, Addy, I would never have picked them to be leading in the end of a grand final with 2 minutes to go by 11 points. So I think they've stunned everybody except for themselves. That self-belief has been there all year and has been backed up by a massive work effort.
And right until the last, they continue to razzle-dazzle. Oh, that wasn't dazzling. That was pretty ugly, and Catherine Cox on the receiving end. She's slow to get to her feet. Well, I don't think she will be when she's within reach of that trophy.
No, she's a bit ginger on it, but there's no way, as the captain, having had such a fine season and a fine game, that she'll be coming off. She could have broken her leg then and she'd stay on.
The Magic. No, they've lost this title, but continue to add to their total, to attempt to. Great deception from Amy Metcalf. Just misplaced it by a couple of centimetres. They'll go again through the throw-in. Van Dyke looking to take the Magic to 55. 10 the difference. Who would have thought?
Well, Kath Cox was quoted in the paper as saying that she would like to be a few in the last few minutes to enjoy it, but she didn't think that would happen. So be careful what you wish for. She's got it.
I just stole a look, and I can tell you there's a big, fat smile on her face. Not so BULLEY and PURCELL, who just continue to work right up into the end. The Magic hit 56. Catherine Cox cannot wipe the smile off her face. She's still got work to do. 35 seconds still on the clock.
Well, she reckons she never looks at the scoreboard, but I think tonight
she knows.
She's had a sneaky
Somebody's
peek.
told her. You are leading by a healthy margin, and you will claim the trophy. That one of the prettier passages from the Magic, again destroyed, denied. This time Kimberlee PURCELL.
Well, the toothpick has had her day.
Well, I don't know what the headline will be. Hopefully not toothpick, but she may well feature. And I think all the fans that have left Canberra and the Bulldogs from ANZ Stadium and come to watch the ANZ Championship, they will be delighted. Listen to the Thundersticks. There's a sea of red surrounding them, and there's glorious red on court as the New South Wales Swifts, against expectations, host and take out the inaugural ANZ Championship. Catherine Cox and Kimberlee Green embrace gracious gestures from Erin van Dijk and Maria Tutaer. Beautiful pictures here from Acer Arena, close enough to a world record netball crowd. Certainly one of the greatest spectacles the sport has ever seen. GILSENAN, has it been her last game?
Annie, I reckon it has, and I don't think she'll be the only retiree. I got the impression, speaking to Nolene Tyrrell Barnett before the game, that perhaps there might be some announcements from some Magic's players, but GILSENAN, that emotion says to me that that's it, and what a great game to finish on.
Well, I'm sure the Sydney fans thought last year was sensational, the Swifts winning the domestic National League. And now they've fought them off from across the Tasman. Catherine Cox can't keep back the tears. Julie Fitzgerald too, overwrought with emotion. As she should be. Such a lead-up, such a fantastic fairy tale for them. And we're not denying the hard work that's gone into that fairy tale, but the pictures tell the story.
Well, they should be excited. They started the year as a potential outsider in terms of the finals, but not to be.
15-11, they took that final quarter, just one in the second and third. The Magic, as you would expect, quite shattered. Not so, though, the skipper of the New South Wales Swifts, Catherine Cox, joins Eloise Southby-Halbish.
Catherine Cox, you're very emotional right now. What a win by your girls.
I can't even speak. Oh.
Just tell us what's the year been, because a lot of people wrote you off early, and you have been a tight-knit group, and you've pulled it out today with a glorious win.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked us what it is about the Swifts this year, and genuinely just a very, very happy team. And I said to the girls before the start of the game, there's not 11 other people that I'd rather be here with right now.
Well, you can just see you're so emotional. Your fantastic game yourself. How did you prepare yourself? I knew you had a lot of baking during the week that you were doing at home with Liz Ellis. Now tell us, were you relaxed? Were you thinking about the game, or were you trying to keep it as normal?
We've been pretty calm for most of the weeks in lead up to the game, so we didn't want to change too much. We're better when we're just relaxed and enjoying what we're doing, so this week was no different. Obviously, you do your tactical side of the game, but try not to think about it too much other than that and just enjoying it.
And the Magic kept coming at you. They put in a great performance. They just didn't let it die for the whole game. When did you think you had it? Did you look up at that scoreboard? Because I know you never do.
I did look at the scoreboard. I couldn't help myself. I looked up with about 4 minutes left and saw that we had a healthy margin, which still makes me nervous against a side like Magic. They're a star-studded lineup, and you know that they're going to fight right to the end, and they did.
And your defence end, fantastic. You lost 2 defenders this year, but the 2 girls that played today, and Selina Gilson at wing defence, what a magnificent effort.
They're saying it all. Our defence end has just been incredible, and, you know, absolute full-court effort, every single person on the court tonight, but the girls on the bench have been fantastic and scream their guts out from start to finish, and they get us over the line every week.
Well, what a fantastic win. It's on Australian soil, the first ANZ Championship, so well done to you and the girls. Go back and celebrate.
I will now can breathe, thank you.
A standing ovation for the New South Wales Swifts champions, the first ever champions. They've written their names into the history books of the ANZ Championship. Spare a thought, of course, for the Magic Nolene Tarua. Picture of disappointment, but I'm sure gracious enough to acknowledge the better team on the day, as would their captain, Amy Jean Metcalf.
You're behind the whole game, but look, geez, you put in a top effort. You've got to hold your heads high.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the match we were just chasing, and we did put in a good effort in patches, but you know, the Swifts are a great side and they thoroughly deserve that win.
Easier question to ask than answer, but off the top of your head, what went wrong?
Oh, I don't know. I think we just made more errors tonight. Sort of been the story of our season, really. Didn't put in a full 60-minute performance. There was some really good stuff, but it wasn't consistent enough.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that word, consistency. Now, you were after that, the whole side, and your coach named that word as well. Disappointing that you couldn't get the 4 quarters across the board. You had a fight back there, particularly led by some of your players, Casey Williams in the final quarter. You just got to get that consistency under the belt though, don't you?
Oh, you do, but you know, again, the Swifts are a good side, and I think they put a lot of pressure on us throughout the court, both on attack and defence, so, you know, credit to them.
The question at the start of the game was, what line would you throw on? Yourself at centre or wing attack, along with Langman. You were forced to change in the second quarter, as well as Irene Van Dyke going back to goal shooter. The changes did work. You had better access with the ball into the goal circle.
Yeah, I think they did work. It was worth the shot trying it the other way. It didn't quite come off tonight. But we had lots of options to try, and we used them all tonight.
Well, on behalf of the crowd, fantastic season, the Magic. Hold your heads up high. We enjoyed your brilliant display of netball. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you in the test in September.
Thanks very much.
Jenny May, the Swifts just completely outclassed the Magic, didn't they? They were just upper level.
Look, I'm really disappointed with the way that Magic came out and played that game. I think Amy Jean Metcalf, the captain, said it best. She said, we've been inconsistent all season. That's exactly what happened to them tonight. But when you consider that lineup of 5 Silver Ferns, incredibly disappointed, and I would say that Ruth Aitken should be a very, very worried coach come time for the Silver Ferns against Australia.
Well, 5 of that team are starting players for the Ferns. Catherine Cox, I mean, she started brilliantly, and just what a leader out on court she was.
Yeah, she was. She was a fantastic leader, and I'd expect her to take that into the Australian series. But look, players that stood out for me, Selina GILSENAN had an outstanding game, as I would have expected from her, and also Kimberlee Green, who I would imagine Norma Plummer, the Australian coach, is looking at her saying, look, we need this kid in our team. So, you know, a couple of them stood up. Interestingly enough for me, Vanessa WARE, who was the wing attack, nobody talked about her. You didn't even see her during the game, but she did exactly what she needed to do during this game. So, you know, fantastic win by the Swifts and well-deserved. Very disappointed with the Magic.
You've just picked out 3 Swifts players. Who do you pick out from the Magic? I mean, I look at these 7 and I can't think of one. Maybe Irene Van Dyke?
Yeah, look, I think Irene, I think she missed 1 goal during that entire match. Probably the other one for me would have to be Casey Williams, although I thought she came in patches during the game, but when there was tight marking needed, when they needed some turnovers, she was the one that produced them. Unfortunately, she couldn't do that throughout the whole match, but only in that 3rd quarter. But those 2 are probably, for me, the players that stood out. The rest of them, you know, had pretty average games, but I can only put that down to the Swifts and what a top lineup they are. But it just goes to show you can have a team of stars and a team of players that just play well together. And what's the result? 9 goals.
Well, the result definitely is very, very disappointing end to the season for the New Zealand team. Fantastic end to the season for Australia. And remember, we have exclusively live coverage of the Silver Ferns test, and this just opens a can of worms for the New World International Series now. September the 17th, you won't want to miss it. Also, the Olympics, 11 days' time. Make sure you're watching here on One Sport. Have a great morning. Thanks for watching.